You know, at first they were like, "You're bringing your own food, rude. Sorry, I'm on a plan." You know, and now they get it.
No.
If you've ever had a big cheat meal and then go lift the next day, you're a lot stronger, right?
Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
because that glycogen is in your muscles and it gets you to push more weight because you're
Yeah.
stronger. So I tell people, please do not lift fasted. You will never get strong enough to push if you lift fasted. I'm not one of those girls that can get on the Stairmaster for an hour.
Yeah.
I will lose my glutes. They will shrink.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is a thing. If you overtrain the muscle, it will shrink.
Randy, are you
Yeah,
sure? So when did you stop? When did you stop casting for Baywatch? She's the redhead IFBB Pro. You can do this, advocate. You will possibly never find out where her content begins or finishes. That goes also with her advice and love affair to give. She's like a fine wine, an extravagant, lavish champagne, a flaming, extraordinary shot on the bar. She's a winner, a grinner. And what she doesn't know, you don't really need to know. Well, you don't. Please help me welcome the Miss USA of the bodybuilding pageant, Clare Morrow. How are you?
Quite good. Thanks for having me on.
I hope that intro was okay. I thought I'd throw all the good things about you on there and how I kind of see you and perceive you. Okay, yesterday you posted, or there was a story about 5 reasons why you gain weight overnight. And you beeped the bit, I think, that you called them assholes. Like assholes. And so it's a good segue. So tell us, what are the 5 reasons we seem to gain weight overnight?
Well, the most common reason is you just ate like an asshole last night, you know?
What does an asshole eat?
Too much sodium, too much sugar. You know, when you go out to dinner or you go out with your friends and you just eat too much food and you wake up and the scale's like, you know, anywhere from 1 to 3 pounds up and you're like, what happened? So that's the main thing. The next one could be you had an epic lifting session the day before. So if you did
I heard that bit. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you did leg day, you know, the next day you're going to hold a little bit of water because, you know, working legs is tough. You're going to rip up your muscles to get them to grow. That's considered a small injury to the body. So it makes you hold water, which is completely normal. So those are the top reasons, you know, really why you would hold water. But it can also be hormonal too. There's so many variables there.
I found, tell me then, why am I lighter in the morning and then heavier by the evening? So sometimes I wake up, at the moment I'm trying to lose some weight. I'm trying to lose 20 kilos, by the way. And I don't know what that is in pounds, but having said that, I can weigh in, excuse me, at 97, or because I want to get to the 80s. I can weigh 97 kilos in the morning and then I'm 98 and a half, 99 by the evening, 2 kilos up. Why is that, you reckon? I don't know.
You're full of food and water, and you know that's why. It's completely normal. Yeah. I tell people don't go by the scale. It's much more accurate to measure your waist, your hips, take a picture. It's much more accurate to track that way. The scale is going to be all over the map, particularly if you're lifting weights.
Are you the type that likes to weigh herself every day?
I do, but only because I like to see the ups and downs. But I don't freak out if the scale goes up. I usually know why. What I do actually once a week is there's a place here that I go to that has an in-body scan. And I scan on that thing every week. And it tells me, okay, this is how much fat you have. This is how much muscle you have, you know, and it's just a little bit better way to do it. The most accurate one is DEXA. But I don't have one super close to me, so I just use the in-body. And, you know, it's not the most accurate with body fat and muscle, but at least the trajectory will be, you know, what you want.
Okay, all right. Well, sticking on your posts, you posted 2 days ago. Was it 2 days ago? I'm not too sure, but it was around then. Your pre-workout routine. You just posted that. You had a few products there. Tell us about your pre-workout routine.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I do. I really like Legion's. Their brand is good. I like their pre-workouts called Pulse. So I use that. And then I was talking about protein bars because a lot of people don't have time. You know, protein bars, I'm not a huge fan of them, but I do like theirs, particularly if you heat it up in the microwave, it's good.
Who's that? Who's the one you're talking about?
Legion.
And why is it good to put in the microwave? I've never heard about protein bars in the microwave.
Oh my gosh, because it melts them a little bit. So they're like warm.
This is like a hack.
Yes.
Oh my God, Chris, we've got to use this when we want to explode about the putting protein bars in the microwave.
Yeah.
Makes good. Go on.
Throw it on a paper plate or something. Throw it in the microwave for no more than probably 15, 20 seconds or it'll melt too much. And it's amazing. Yeah.
And I spoke to a girl. She's a friend of mine and she's been on the podcast too. Her name's Nikki. She's in I think she's in Atlanta or something. And we spoke about protein bars and protein stuff. And do you think protein bars, protein shakes is similar to, say, having protein food, or is always protein food better? Like
real food is always better. Let me tell you why.
Tell me, you're good, please.
Yeah. So chicken, for example, is full of glutamine. Well, glutamine is an amino acid we need to help us recover from our workouts. It also helps your digestion. You're not going to get that from a protein shake or a bar. Turkey, for example, has B12 in it. You're not going to get those micronutrients and nutrients from a protein bar. So real food is always going to be better. Yes.
It's good because we are a little bit sold on not having real food because everyone's trying to sell a product, which I get. I've got a product, but I'm still going to be the biggest advocate that, look, you got to get real food in you. And the trick to good, healthy weight is that balance of fats, carbohydrates, sugars, and protein. Like, it's just so important. And the real stuff, the green veggies, the sweet potato, the brown rice, the chicken, the lean meats, even the fish. I mean, you can't go wrong. You don't need anything else, do you really?
No, you really don't. You don't need a lot of supplements. And I tell people that, like my pre-workout and stuff, I mean, it's great. It helps you kind of wake up a little bit and get, get some nutrients into your muscles or whatever. But, you really don't need it. A black coffee will do the same dang thing. And that's a lot of people surprised when I tell them that. But black coffee is a great pre-workout.
It is a great pre-workout, and I sell coffee, by the way. And maybe I'll send you some of my business cards. You can distribute it. Yeah, maybe I'll send you some. Okay, a post again 2 days ago. You said the danger of being in a chronic calorie deficit. Tell us more. I can relate to something like that because in my 20s, we spoke a little bit off air beforehand. I reckon I ended up having an eating disorder. I didn't even know I had one, but I believe I was obsessed and becoming, I was not anorexic, but you could turn it around by saying I was afraid to even, like, everything was so measured, and I was thinking the less I ate, the leaner I got, where it was costing me. So I'm assuming the chronic calorie deficit is something possibly like that, but you'll tell me more, please.
Oh yeah. So this is a real big issue, especially with women.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you said that because this is what happens. You think you need to go lower and lower with your calories and really, micromanage everything. But what people don't realize, and this is so important, is when you go too low on calories, your body adjusts to what you're doing. So literally you're slowing your metabolism down when you get too low on calories. So, you got to have a place to go, right? So for example, let's say, just throwing a number out there, let's say you're eating 1,600 calories a day, right? And, you stay there for a while and you hit a plateau. So you go a little bit lower. You got to have a place to go.
Yeah.
If you're doing, and these ladies are doing 1,200 calories a day, I'm sorry, but that is not good. Your body requires 1,300 calories just to run itself, ladies.
Yeah.
It does. Your hair, your skin, your nails, your organs, they need calories to work properly. So you literally, the deficits are, you will start losing hair. You'll feel like a bag of ass and you'll have no energy. Things like that. And, you'll get some brain fog. Your workouts will suffer. There's so many things that go into that when you start under eating for a long period of time. It's not good. I mean, that's why us competitors, when we lean down, we come right back up with our calories gradually. It's called reverse dieting. And I'll touch on that a little bit because I'm sure your listeners are interested in that too.
Hey guys, Steve here from Muscle Talks. I just want to say thank you for you guys being here. Thank you for watching this podcast. What I'd really love is for you guys to hit the subscribe button. Why hit the subscribe button? It'll just allow us to have a bigger reach, allow us to go get a bigger audience, and also bring you the best of the best here. Our goal here is to not only get our local people, but also international, and eventually, and hopefully, and will be bringing the Olympians to this station, Muscle Talks podcast. So please hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell. So every time our podcast is launched weekly, that you get notified and you can sit back and enjoy this. Thanks, guys.
When you reach your goal weight or you reach your goal, you want to make sure you reverse diet. And how you do that is...
what's a reverse diet? Explain that, yeah.
Yeah, let's say you were eating 1,300 calories a day. Okay, let's just throw a number out there. For a week, add 100 calories for a week. So do 1,400 calories a day for a week. Monitor your progress, and if nothing changes, next week, go to 1,500, so on and so forth, until you finally get back to maintenance calories. Now, it could take longer. Everybody's different. You know, somebody who's older, like myself, I'm 51, it'll take me a little bit longer to get my metabolism to rev back up again. But you want to feed the muscle and starve the fat. That's the saying we have in bodybuilding. Feed the muscle, starve the fat.
Starve the fat, yeah. That's good to say.
Yeah, so how do we do that? We stay high protein. We stick to natural foods as much as possible. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight or goal weight. A lot of people don't talk about that. So if you're a bigger girl, and I say that lovingly, go for your goal weight and grab some protein. You know, that's how we feed the muscle and starve the fat. And also make sure you are eating natural carbs, the good carbs, like you mentioned, brown rice, sweet potatoes, white rice, any kind of rice, really. Red potatoes, you know, they're all super good for you. Yeah.
I found also what's really good is, it's actually quite tasty. It smells like shit sometimes. Sorry about that. But is broccoli. Broccoli is amazing. Cooked in the oven. You bake it in the oven, and when it gets that little bit crispy too, if you it can be quite delicious. With it gives the food a I don't know, like a bit of Asian European flavor to it. I feel like it opens it up. It's quite flavorsome with the greens.
Yeah, I like broccoli. I can't eat it as much as I used to because, you know, that's another thing that happens to us as we get over age 40 is our digestion slows down, our liver processing of food slows down. We just can't eat the same crap we used to and get away with it. So, you know, things like broccoli and Brussels sprouts don't end well for me. I end up bloated.
Well, it's funny you say that. Thank you for sharing that too, because not that the fact that you're uncomfortable, but thank you for sharing that anyway. But there's a guy here, he's an American guy too. His name is Scott salesman. They call him the mechanic, and he's a great trainer. He's just turned 50. He looks amazing. He's really, and he trains a lot of pro athletes. And the funny thing was, I had him on the podcast, and then I spoke to him off a few weeks later about I can't lose weight. Like I just can't lose weight, right? And I'm shocked. And he said to me, "It's your gut health." He goes, just like you age on the outside of your body's aging inside, and your gut can't do what it did. So you need certain supplements, you need certain vitamins, you need to absorb. Your protein's probably not getting taken and distributed; it's getting lost. And so when you talk about the gut health, it was like a light went off that everything, our brain, our body, our organs, everything stems to what goes in that gut. And we can give it the best food, but as aging, if we're not doing the right things with it, I don't know exactly I mean, I know what I'm on, meaning the stuff he's told me to take, but I think people need to look at absorption in your gut.
You're absolutely 100% right. So that goes back to the digestion, liver processing of food thing, right? So you want to make sure you're taking good probiotics. And not to plug anything here, but I have an Amazon.
Go for it. Go for your life.
I mean, I have an Amazon favorites page, and I put all the stuff that I take on there. I'm not that shitfluencer that's going to share something with you. She doesn't use her stuff.
That's okay. Good.
I take good probiotics, and I also take digestive enzymes. Now, you want to take those every time you eat.
I take a digestive enzyme too.
Yeah, it really does help because our digestive enzymes go kaput as we get older, and so does our hormones. And we'll talk about that too, I'm sure.
Yeah, we did. I've got a question on that. So yeah, of course it's and so it's I'll tell you something else. You can if you like. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I was listening to a podcast. It was a pro bodybuilder, and he was also a dietitian, studied food science at university. And what he said was, sometimes when you're in a deficit, right? When you're in a deficit, he says it's sometimes if you're going to stay on the line of the deficit, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to nudge it a bit higher because you need that for muscle building. If you keep going lower, you're going to deprive muscle growth. So what he was saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're eating, let's say, 1,500 calories a day, but you're trying to stay on the money, but you can't, he says best you just go a little bit over that because your muscles will like replenish it and enjoy it. If you try and go below it, it's going to be cost effective on size, cost effective on muscle. What do you think?
Absolutely right. Spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, when we lean down for our shows, most bodybuilders will lose a pound, 2, 3, 4 pounds of muscle. Especially, and this happens even more as the older you get. For me, and this took me a long time to figure out, my body is sensitive. Oh, it's annoying. If I do too much cardio, I'm not one of those girls that can get on the Stairmaster for an hour. I will lose my glutes. They will shrink. So that is a thing. If you overtrain the muscle, it will shrink. So I'll give you an example. If you look at a marathon runner, they're built long, lean, and stringy, right? Which is great if that's what you want to look like. But when you're bodybuilding, you want to build some size, you want to build some shape to your body. And the reason marathon runners look like that is because they are constantly taxing their muscles every single day. They're out there pounding those muscles into mincemeat, if you will. So it gets long, lean, and stringy. So if you overtax the muscle, it's going to get long, lean, and stringy instead of grow. So I learned that the hard way with my body. I don't even do cardio when I prep now. I walk. That's all I do. This is an underestimated activity. Walking 10,000 steps a day. If you're out there and you're trying to figure out what to do, it is 80% diet. You cannot run your fork, but add 10,000 steps a day. You'll be amazed.
Well, I used to sprint. Sprinting is really good. Look at a sprinter's body. It's short, fast, and sweet. In and out. We're done. Like it's not, they don't, you know what I mean? It's 300 meters, 200 meters, 100 meters, 2 or 5 times. We're done. Let's get the hell out of here. Got your heart rate up. You're pumping hard. You're breathing deeply in your diaphragm. Like it's literally, you're ready to vomit. Like that's basically enough. Now you can go home. So I think with me as well, I found the secret is walking, I think as well. But I think everything, I see some people when they walk, they're like this big power walker, like we're talking about, like they look like they're jogging themselves and they don't look happy. I just think with bodybuilding, we need to find places because we are people that are inside our heads. We look for perfection. We look for a lot of things. And I think walking stimulates us. I think it stimulates us mentally. I think we need it. We need to get out and walk. You know what I mean? As bodybuilders.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, even if I can't go outside, I'll get on my little treadmill here and plug away and get on TikTok or something,
Yeah, or on a podcast, go on a podcast, have a listen.
Right, exactly. Anything like that, to get your mind off what you're doing. But just at the 10,000 steps a day. I mean, by the time I finished this last prep, I was doing 15,000 steps a day at the very last 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I was getting a lot of just movement. That's all.
So let's talk about the comp you just did. Which comp did you do?
So I did San Antonio Pro, and I'm a IFBB Bikini Pro Masters competitor because I'm 51. So I did that show, and then I did the Hurricane Pro. So I got 3rd place at San Antonio, and my feedback was it was a little bit too hard. So we brought my body in a little softer. Well, I came in a little too soft at the next one, so I didn't do quite as well, but I still made the top 10.
Okay.
Still, it's just one of those things where you're just like, okay, well, we're not doing that experiment again.
Yeah. And what's the hardest thing for you? I'm going to also ask you what's the easiest. So what's the hardest thing about going into comp mode and getting to comp or even being in the comp? What is the hardest?
Probably that there's no going out. Like you don't go out for dinner. There's no alcohol. Of course, I don't drink much anyway because it slows your synthesis, and that goes back to the digestion as we get older as well. That's a whole nother animal. But my husband is so supportive. Randy, he's amazing. He'll
we're going to talk about Randy. We are going to talk about Randy.
Yeah, he's incredible. Like, you know, we might do a coffee date where we go to Starbucks and I just have a, you know, some coffee or something like that, the black or whatever. You know, so we still go out and do stuff, but there's no food involved. If we do have to go to a family function, I bring my own food with me, and my whole family's used to it. They're like, they don't give a crap anymore.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Guys, please go to threeog.shop. Go to threeog.shop and purchase your book now. This book doesn't only have Ted's recipes on there, you can create your own. It even tells you about the utensils you need to be using. It says macros, fats, carbohydrates, sugars. It says it all. There's too much to list. So please go to threeog.shop. What's that? threeog.shop. Get your book now.
You know, at first they were like, "You're bringing your own food? Rude. Sorry, I'm on a plan." You know, and now they get it.
No one understands a bodybuilder, or let's say someone that's dedicated to the craft of us training, maybe for comp or just for an event of turning a certain age or a wedding or whatever, the beach, the summer. They never understand it until it's too late for them. And they go, "Oh my God, look at me. I'm a piece of shit. I look like this." And you go, "Yeah, do you remember you're laughing at me when I was eating lean many years ago and why I kept exercising?" You said, "I'll just come out with us, just do this." And now they're all like, "Help me, help us."
Yeah, I look like shit. I know, but you know what? I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are. Anybody can do this. Anybody can whip themselves into shape. And my husband's living proof of that. He started when he was
I've got a bit of a he's which we'll talk about, Randy, but you've whipped him into shape, and he's also got a moustache at the moment, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a beautiful beard right now. Yeah.
Oh yes, of course. It's what happens when you get older. But go on.
Yeah. So he started when he was 60 and he's now 70 and looks incredible. He really did. We just filmed a YouTube yesterday of a bunch of Q&A and kind of how we got fit. So I can't wait to release that one because it's going to be a good video. But yeah, he looks amazing. You know, I started when I was 42, which is still later in life. And at the time I did not think that it was even possible at that age. I had no idea. Because I really wasn't into fitness. I trained horses for years and I was in that world, the equine world. So I had no clue. And when we started going to the gym, I saw a girl across the way. She was doing lat pull downs. Her name is Randy also. And I'm like, "Oh my God, look at her back." You know, you could see every single muscle. And I slapped my husband and said, "I want to look like that." How does that happen? So literally I walked over to her that same day, same gym session, and I'm like a Labrador retriever. I've never met a stranger. I'll just walk right up to you and, "Hey, what's up?" You know, and I won't look your face though. But anyway, so so we talked for a bit, and I asked her how old she was, and she was only like a couple years younger than me. And I'm like, "Really? You can look like that?" And she goes, "Oh yeah." And then she started like showing me pictures of other competitors, you know, that were older, and I'm like, "Oh my God." So I got hooked up with who they trained with, and one thing led to another, and that's kind of how we started it rolling. But yeah, now here I am. I have a back just like that now, finally.
So you said you discovered what you saw or getting fit. I've seen the we're going to talk about the book as well, and the Fluffy to Fit, and if that's what Fluffy to Fit, and also that girl in that white bikini. Tell us about that girl in the white bikini. Can you tell us? I mean, she's the same person, I'm sure still the golden retriever. And but tell me, obviously gym wasn't in your, because I'm saying I started training at 18, 17, 15. It wasn't you were a horse trainer or love affair with horses and whatever you did. Why then? What was happening? Tell us about the girl in the white bikini.
Yeah. So when I saw that picture, when we got home from it, we were on vacation and I was drunker than Cooter Brown in that picture. So when we got home and I saw that picture, I cried my eyes out and I'm like, "Oh God, I got to do something." Right. I'm like not one to let something go. So I lost the fat, but I looked skinny fat and I hated it. And right around that time, my mom got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And within a month, and I wrote about this in the book too, kind of what started our journey, but my husband's brother died of a heart attack within a month of each other. And we sat down on the couch and I said, honey, I don't want to wait for some nasty disease to come for me. And I don't want a heart attack to come for you. So let's be serious and try to get in shape and do all the things. So that's what kind of prompted the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will. And at the time I was battling, I had to quit training horses because I had a herniated disc in my neck. So I was going through some rehab anyways. And I just took those exercises to the gym. And that was right around the time I met Randy, my friend, my friend, that's a girl, Randy. And, so that was kind of how it all kind of came together. And I started on that bodybuilding path and just fell in love with it. And I'm just, once you see results, it really does become a good addiction. You know, people ask about motivation all the time. You have to become your own motivation and know your why. Why do you want to do this, right? So once the results started showing up, when we hired a good bodybuilding trainer that knew what the hell he was doing and started fixing our nutrition, and about almost a year into it, though, this is one thing I do regret. He looked at me one day and he goes, "I think we need to get your hormones checked." And I'm like, "Huh? What? Why? I didn't know that was a thing."
Of course.
Sure as shit. When I went and got my hormones checked, I had zero natural testosterone left. Zero, which means you are not going to be able to build muscle without it. I had to fix that right away. And I shit you not, within 3 weeks, the muscle started showing up of implementing the HRT. So it was an eye opener for me at that point. And then progesterone, I was really low on progesterone, which is, you know, I study hormones now and I'm a wellness coach now, but progesterone is basically the hormone conductor. It tells the other hormones what to do. It balances out your estrogen. So it also controls your sleep. Testosterone controls your muscle, your libido. If you're having brain fog, that's probably because you're low T. And your energy. So if you're just fatigued all the time, it's probably connected to your testosterone. So those were symptoms I was having and not knowing why until I connected those dots. So that's one of the biggest things I preach about now is hormone balance, because it's just so important. It's the wiring in the body that controls everything, including your ability to lose weight and build muscle.
I told you about a guy called Scott and the mechanic. Look him up on Instagram. I'm sure you two connecting would be great because he's a man of knowledge too. Fellow American, you know, I'm sure supporting each other. He's just turned 50. We need to support him because he's just turned 50. So we need to guide him into the 50s.
Right.
But he made me go do my bloods and check my testosterone. Never done my testosterone, and that's free testosterone and SHGB, whatever it's called, all this kind of stuff. But you know what's funny? Because it is a question here, but we're going to come to it now. Because we're going to talk about you've gone and done, and you recommend to check your hormones and all that. And you mentioned about a clinic you go to that does a really good job with that, or something like that. You again, correct me if I'm wrong. I did so much research on you last night that I couldn't find a start or a finish with you. You were the only person I said, I don't know where to start and I don't know where to finish. Where is the end of this? Where is the end of all this information? And where does it start?
I know, it's crazy.
And
you're right.
And the thing was,
several places that I use, but I've got most of my docs do telemedicine and they're amazing. I'm based in Texas, and I've got one in Texas that does telemedicine, but the one that I mainly use does national telemedicine, and they're awesome. They do take insurance for the labs, but unfortunately HRT is not covered by insurance no matter who you go to. But invest in yourself. It's important.
The thing is, this is what I was going to say. I went to my family doctor, and actually he's my cousin. And I said to him, his name's George. I said, George, instead of calling him Doctor, George. I said, George, I want to get bloods done. He goes, yeah, that's cool. And he's ticking away, you know, like cholesterol and this and that. I said, yeah, can you? He goes, what else? I said, testosterone. He goes, oh, okay, testosterone. And I went, but I need this, this, and this. He goes, why do you want all this stuff? And then I was caught all this, even feminine stuff. I forgot what he was talking about. Look, correct me if I'm wrong, like estrogen and this and that. And he goes, I only asked this from women. I said, George, I've got a guy in Melbourne, his name's Scott. I just need this stuff. And he's going, I'll tell this guy he's crazy. It's amazing the resist, like we're covered by Medicare. We can get bloods done and we can get a lot of stuff done for free. But it's amazing the resist. But imagine it's amazing our doctors, the resistance they give us on stuff that they could just tick a box and go, yeah, no, let's find out about it. But they actually fight you for it.
I know.
Which is amazing. Why?
I know. No, it's so true. Over here, if you go to a GP, a general practitioner, if you go to an OBGYN for a woman, they're just going to either not test you, or if they do test you, they're going to tell you you're within quote unquote normal range. And there's a big difference between normal range and optimal range. You know,
Yes.
if you're having those symptoms that I mentioned before, or I'm just going to go through them really quick. Hair loss, belly fat, can't sleep at night, low energy, brain fog, can't lose weight no matter what you do, the belly fat coming out of nowhere. Any of those symptoms are a huge sign of hormone imbalance, bloating, all the things. You know, then you need to go to a wellness practitioner. They're the ones that specialize in hormones, not an endo, not an OBGYN, not a freaking GP, because they don't know come here from Sikkim when it comes to hormones.
Well, the thing is, I did the test, and thankfully my levels are good. To be honest, what was low, I found it was my iron, which I have realized I'm not having enough red meat in my diet, enough food that has iron in it as well.
You have bison over there?
Beg your pardon? Bison?
Bison?
No, we don't have bison. No, we don't have bison. But
iron.
yeah, so, but having said that, we spoke about gut health and absorption. Once I started sorting that out, everything started coming back good now. So I think we could say that besides going and do the tests, and let's say the tests come back really good, it could be that you're just not absorbing well, meaning your body's not absolutely utilizing it within your gut. And that's where I think why, I don't know about you, I'm looking around me at the moment, and I don't know about you, but I see a lot of people who are inflamed, bloated, hunched, bowed leg. Like, and I look around and I think to myself, it says it all. I just look at their diet. Forget, even if they're not at the gym, which I think the lucky bit about you and your husband who's 70, let me tell you now, I already know without meeting Randy that Randy already does more than a 70-year-old usually does. He's alone. Randy's alone because Randy's doing what other 70-year-olds are not. Randy's doing compound lifting. He's pushing, even if he's just pushing 30-kilo dumbbells, let's just say as a bench press, or 20 kilo, whatever it is, doesn't matter. He's pushing 20 kilos than a normal 70-year-old already. And that's what people don't understand, that you need to exceed your age. You need to exceed your DNA. You need to exceed.
Yeah, no, it's so true. My husband's a beast. Like, he looks like a bodybuilder. He
does.
He doesn't look frail or like an old man, you know. And like, I'll just give an example, and I'm not getting political, but it's the best example I can give you. Biden, for example, he's walking around all hunched over. He's lost so much muscle. He falls down a lot. And that's, you know, I feel for that's sad, you know, but here's why that happens. It's called sarcopenia. So as we get older, we lose 8% of our muscle every decade over the age of 40 until we get to 70, and then it's 15%.
Yeah.
But that is preventable now. You know, our moms and dads didn't have the options that we have now, and the science. So all we have to do to prevent that is lift weights, compound lift, like you're saying, high protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight or goal weight. Make sure you're on hormone, HRT. As you get older, you're gonna need it, especially you ladies, because we're so complex. I know in Australia it's harder to find a good wellness specialist. I actually do know one that does telemedicine. So if you have any listeners that need one in Australia, have a message me on Instagram at Clare Morrow _IFBB Pro. Don't spell my name with an I. You'll never find me. It's CLARE. My mom had to be difficult. God, yeah, she did. So, bloody hell, now I can't remember where I was going with that.
You're saying about in Australia, there is a place, get in contact with you, HRT, compound lifting.
So HRT is important, and lifting, and those are the variables that you need to do. If you have all those variables in place, you will keep your muscle for the most part.
I also believe that you need a diet that is so balanced. We're talking about. I saw it with my dad. We had a veggie patch. We had two things. You either had a backyard that was concreted, and what wasn't concreted was a veggie patch. We didn't have a backyard to kick a ball. It was just to have a because I come from Greece. I got a Greek background. So
I do too.
You Greek?
Yeah, my Ionides was my grandmother's last name.
Ionides. Wow. Whereabouts? We're in Greece.
I don't have any idea. I was actually born in England originally. and raised there till I was 8. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, oh my gosh, because I remember my mom's mom, Granny, she was called Ionides. That was her last name.
Ionides, maybe that's how you say Ionides.
Ionides, yeah. So I do have Greek in my background, absolutely. I've been
I could tell you're a goddess. You look like a goddess. Of course, I should have known that. I mean, how silly I've been. So, and again, to clarify what I'm trying to say, you need fats, but good fats. Your brain needs it. We can't starve ourselves. You need, meaning olive oil is good. Too much olive oil is not good, but olive oil is good. Even people used to cook in just fats like lard or whatever. What I mean is we have gone so far that we don't know what we're cooking with. But the most important thing is our brain needs some fats. Our body needs some fats. It needs the protein. It needs the carbohydrate. It needs the sugars. We're not talking about eating, chocolate bars and protein bars. We're talking about real food, because as we age, we become like, the kids have left, or my spouse, unfortunately, may have passed away. Well, who am I going to cook for? No, you've got to up the game. You've got to go more, get older. I think you've got to reinvest even further in yourself as you get older. I think you can get away with it when you're younger.
100%. Yeah, when you mentioned the fat, so many people actually don't measure what they're cooking with. So if you are using oils, make sure you measure it, because 1 tablespoon is like 14 grams of fat and 100 calories. So if you're like Doc and you're not losing weight and you're not tracking that stuff, be really careful. Just know that fats are good, just don't get too much of them. Carbs are good, don't get a ton of them. It's just, you've got to keep that balance. Yeah, for sure.
So it's all balance in the food. I was just so again, a post 3 days ago, and let's talk a little bit more about it and the census on women. Exercise women are not allowed to do. Ladies, do you agree? What's going on there?
Oh, so I did like a duet thing where you duet somebody.
Yes.
And this guy was Australian too, and I thought his take was really, really good. Because I'm going to call him a moron. The moron he was stitching with was saying women should not do this, lat pull down and make your back bigger. I'm like, yeah, welcome that. It makes your waist smaller too.
That's right.
And, they should not do, well, he went on and on and on about it. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm thinking to myself, dude, your pecker must be 2 inches. Like, seriously, really?
Oh, for sure. He looked the type, yes.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, so do you think, let's look at it, let's reverse it. Women used to look at guys with muscles as gorillas. Even let's not talk about what's going on now in Olympia. I mean, the guys have dedicated, they put so much time and the science behind what they do. And we're not talking about steroids. I'm talking about the amount of protein they eat isn't science-based, because science just gets it wrong. They eat like to push the levels they push. So everything is according to what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
Having said that, I remember girls used to go, oh my God, that guy looks so massive. He looks like a gorilla. Where I'm seeing now, especially in the teens of 2010 onwards, maybe 15, besides girls taking over the gym now, forget it. It's gone. We're lost. The women are taking over. They're taking over the competitions. They're taking over the gyms. We're getting, Venus is taken over. Mars is being pushed out. So what do you think about women now saying to other women, oh my God, you're looking too muscly, or you're looking like this? Because they used to bag the men, but now it seems like women are going against women as well. Besides men looking at women, I think personally, two things that really fascinate me is women at the gym, which not to say about just being at the gym. We're talking about really muscular and looking amazing. And 2, women that ride motorcycles. They're the 2 that get me every time. So having said that, how are women with women in the gym?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, we're pretty supportive, but every now and again, because I'm on social media so much, I'll get some moron woman that is what I call the Frau. She's just sitting behind her little phone there and making negative comments, you know. And you know, they'll say, "Oh, you look trans. Are you a woman? You look trans." I'm like,
Yeah.
But I compete. I have more muscle than most women, and it's a choice that you know, the more muscle I have, the more food I can eat too. It's
of
awesome.
course. Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, I think the stigma is starting to change, but with this whole trans movement, you know, and the transes, you know, competing in girls' sports, which I totally disagree with. I just don't think it's right. But anyway, yeah, it's. I guess I could see where people get muddled, right? But you know, everybody's got feelings, right? I mean, to me, I'm pretty hard of nails. It takes a lot to get under my skin. It really does.
Yeah.
I was wired that way from day one.
Yeah.
But you know, I've got a lot of muscle. I know that. I've got a deeper voice. I've had that my whole life. And when people say that to me, I'm like, okay, Carol Channing, Joan Rivers, both of those women had deeper voice, and nobody gave them shit about it. Or if they did,
I think people like that are half glass full, or are people that just are striving, disciplined on themselves, a little bit of a loner sometimes in that world of pushing the boundaries for excellence. And you know, you never get to real excellence sometimes. We're probably the only ones that don't put others down, but the other motherfuckers that do actually fucking nothing seem they can come into our circle and tell us what the fuck, and that's when we become savage, and we like think, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, no shit. You're gonna look like a man. Oh, honey, you're just gonna look like a fit ass. You're just gonna look like a badass with a fit ass. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. You're not gonna turn into a man. Chill out. You know, these muscles take a long time to accumulate. You know, and I always tell women that, and I think a lot of women are figuring that out. You know, I'll be the first one if I see a girl. Like the other day, there was a girl doing squats. I think she was doing 50 squats, and she was trying to hit her quads, but she was doing them all wrong. And I went up to her quietly and I said, "Are you trying to hit your quads in that exercise?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Can I show you something?" And just like that, she goes, "Yeah, that'd be great." So I showed her how to do it better to hit her quads. I said, "Now put the weight down and let's do it this way." She's like, she could barely do it when I was showing her the way to do it. She's like, "Oh my God, I really feel that in her quads." I said, "All right, good." She goes, "Thanks." No, I don't do that very often. You're not, it's gym etiquette. You're not supposed to do that. But I will sometimes when I see someone that I feel like is struggling, you know?
I think again, I mean, look, I'm a little bit older than you, but I'm just saying you've come into the bodybuilding world at 41 and you've taken over. Let me just say you've done the Conor McGregor. You're not here to show up. You're here to take over. Okay, we got that. But even myself, when I train too, and I watch some kids trying, you can see they're trying, and I think they're the ones you go over and help. The ones that you see they're really trying, and you go, "Oh, you're trying, but you got a bit wrong." But the funniest is when I'm at the gym now, and I see the guy struggling with the weight. He's struggling, but his mates are there on the phone, and I think, guys, he needs a spot. He needs a spot, guys. So I'll go over and spot the guy. I'll spot the guy and then say, "Come on, we could do another 2 or 3." And he's busted his ass when I just do another 3 with him. And then all his mates are like, "Oh, thanks, mate." I said, "Guys, stop looking at your phone. Just as much as you train, as much as you encourage each other, as you spot each other." But they're not getting the gym etiquette is we're all in it together. Let's all help each other. But
absolutely, 100% true. Yeah. I know the same thing over here is, you know, everybody's on their phones, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I'll sit there and record, and if I go live, I always ask somebody who's around me. If they're around me, I'll be like, "Look, I'm going to go live. Are you okay with that?" And most of the time they are, but I always ask, you know.
Yeah. Going to the Wolfpack San Antonio Pro competition, I want to ask the women over 60.
Yeah.
What is going on there?
Oh yeah, y'all got to go to my Instagram and go watch that post, because every single one of those ladies were over 60 and they all look incredible. None of them look their age at all, in person and on camera.
If you didn't write that caption, I would have known. I wouldn't have known.
Never known. Yeah, they look amazing. I mean, even in the masters group, you know, we have 80 groups, so we have like 50 and up, 45 and up, and we have 55 and up and 60 and up. So they're competing in the 55 and up and the 60 and up. and they all look just incredible and still have muscle and, you know, all the things. And yeah, I was happy to do that post. Those girls looked awesome.
Hey, oh my gosh. And when you write, I had to actually looked at the post about 3 times. I had to go each individual one. I went, man, she looks like she's in her 40s. She looks like just incredible. Like I was really impressed. So,
and so sweet. They're the sweetest women. I hung out with them the whole weekend. You know, we chatted about things, and they're all just the sweetest people, and they all have grandkids. You know, that's another thing I get. Oh, Claire, you don't have kids. I'm like, oh, honey, let me tell you, I've been through it, but it just didn't end well. It's something I don't like to talk about. But yeah, and I know lots of women that have had many, many kids and still look, you know, ripped. Just, you know, looks better than me.
I think whether I think when it comes to advice, whether you got kids or no kids, I mean, I don't think people aren't giving people parenting advice. I don't think people are giving marital advice. They're just giving you training advice. At the end of the day, you've got to fit it in. It's your, it's, you know, and it's, I know yourself and myself and Chris being here, we don't think about going to the gym. That's just like brushing our teeth, having a shower. The ones that are thinking about it, they're not in our group. To get in our group, you will, I guess, change a nappy. I mean, I'm divorced, unfortunately, but when I was married, and married for 22 years, but I realized as I was having kids and wanting to go to the gym, I went to the gym at 4 a.m. when they're all asleep. So I could be home when they all woke up. That was what I had to do. Yeah. Because my wife, we had young children, said, I need your help. But and I don't know if I was ever that good at it. I think I was good, but I won't give myself that much of a rap. But what I do know is that I would say, but I just love training. I don't want to give it up. What do I do? Well, I have to sacrifice sleep. Meaning, of course, I went to bed earlier, but even if I didn't, and I didn't get up and go to the gym at 4 and come home grumpy, I went to the gym and I felt much better. I was more grumpy not going to the gym. So I don't think anyone realizes that even males and females and guys would, if your wife can go to the gym early in the morning and you could be sleeping in the bed and the kids are in the next room, let her go. Like that's, you're going to have to find it somewhere if that's the case, because that's how I did it. And we weren't like you and your husband, Randy, is you guys stay fit together. Mine, she wasn't into fitness, but that didn't mean she didn't look great. But it was more like I said to you, I just found, 4 o'clock in the morning, I was and I didn't want to be there. Trust me, you don't want to be there. I tell people there's 2 pains. There's 2 hurts. There's hurts. One, hurting, getting up at 4 in the morning or 5, or hurting and getting up at 9 o'clock knowing you didn't go to the gym. Which pain do you want? I prefer the 5 o'clock going to the gym pain.
Yeah, same. I've got a single friend of mine that's a single mom, and she gets up at 4 in the morning. The babysitter comes over at 4:30, watches her child while she goes to the gym to get her workout in. She comes home and then makes breakfast for her child, takes her to school. So where there's a will, there's a way. It's just you've got to prioritize your time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So let's since we found out that you are a Greek goddess, tell us about where did you grow up? Were you always an actor? And what did you aspire to be? What was your dreams to be when you were growing up?
I've always been a card. There's no doubt about it. Always been a bit of a salesman, like ever since an early age. My mom said I used to try to sell the garden roses to people that would come over. I don't know what my problem was. I was actually born in England, raised there till I was 8, and then we immigrated to South Texas, and it was very much a culture shock at the time. Yes, I had a British accent at the time, which I no longer have, but if I really want to, I could start talking like that again. It's a little bit far from the Australian accent. I can't do that.
You do that pretty well too.
Yeah, master the Australian. I can do everything else. And so I grew up there and learned how to speak Spanish, learned how to fight.
Fight? Then, what does it mean, fight? What do you mean?
Well, I was the only gringo. Let's just put it that way. lots and lots of Mexicans that did not like white people, unfortunately. And there was a few that did. I'm not stereotyping, and I'm not being racist. I don't mean it like that at all. It's just I got my ass beat. Let's just put it that way, because I was a white girl, and in this school, and yeah, it was rough. It was rough sometimes. So then we moved to Dallas when I was a teenager, and I went to high school here. And then I moved away for a while following a Marine, which is a mistake. Lived in North Carolina, lived in New York, did some modeling, tried my hand at acting. I wasn't really that good at it. I don't know if I've gotten any better, to be honest.
No comment. But your sales has improved, boy. No, actually, you're very good. You're very good. You're very good. I'm telling you, I've got a question about business, but keep going.
Yeah, so I do skit sometimes where I do like different characters. I don't know if you've seen one of those yet or not.
I've seen them.
Okay.
I think I saw the alcoholic. I think you had a person holding a wine bottle.
Oh yeah, Karen. That's my Karen. Yeah. Karen. Stop it. She's the one with the attitude, and supposedly my sister, and then Amber with the blonde hair is the
I was going to say the blonde is blonde hair as well. Yes.
Yeah, she's the redneck that comes from Alabama. Yeah. So she talks like this. So that's
you are an actress. You're an actress. Go on.
Yeah, that's one accent I like to do is the redneck one. But my mom always used to make me do Jeff Foxworthy impressions in front of her friends because she loved it so much. But anyways, that's how moms are, right?
That's how moms are.
So yeah, it was. I like doing those. They're fun. It's kind of like my alter ego. Like I can step outside the box for a minute and try to have some fun.
I realize you got to. I think. I realize, like, when you look at superstars, real superstars like Prince, Madonna. I mean, that's not their real names,
Right.
and the characters they put on show and what they have to do when they're quite shy and introvert. I am an introverted person, meaning I'm friendly, but I'm really good on my own. I'm really good quiet. I'm even better when I'm quiet.
Gotcha.
So sometimes we need an alter ego. My one's Harry, so I've got a Harry. I've decided he's Harry.
I love it.
And Chris has James because I think he thinks he's James Bond.
Too funny.
Yeah, so go on. So you were selling roses. You were acting. Your mum got you to act. You grew up. You went to New York. You took your chances at acting. You didn't think you were that good at it.
It's hard. It's hard.
You bashed your way out of Texas. You bashed your way out of what? Where did you grow up again?
So England, Kingsville, South Texas, and then Dallas.
Dallas, yeah.
Where I am now. I ended up moving back here.
Yeah. And so, what did you aspire to be?
When I was growing up, I always wanted to be a dolphin trainer until I realized how much schooling you had to do. You had to be like a biology major and stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yes.
So I ended up being a horse trainer for a good while, but I was raised on a horse farm in England. So I already knew growing up how to do all that. I was breaking horses when I was a young girl. My mom question my mom's sanity sometimes, but she would, she put me on horses and she taught me how to ride at a very young age. And I was breaking horses when I was young. So I learned how to do all that growing up, and yeah.
Do you still have a love affair with horses?
Yeah, and we just put down our last two recently. As a matter of fact, the week of the show died in the same day. It was weird. One of them, he couldn't walk anymore, so we had to put him down. Now his little buddy was a miniature horse. This is kind of a weird story, but he was so distraught that his buddy got hauled off. You know how they have to haul horses off when you put them down, and he witnessed all that, and there was nothing I could do about it. And Tucker I got a call from Randy a few hours later. He said Tucker just died. I'm like, what do you mean he died? And he was old too. He just laid down and died. He could not live without his friend.
Sad story.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, and this was the week of my show. Like, you want to talk about, people talk about stress and, this happened. I had a glass of wine. I was going into my show and I had an extreme amount of stress that week. And I was like, you know what? Thank God I can compartmentalize. So that was like my one gift that God gave me. I can compartmentalize. So I did that.
Sorry to hear about the horse. I mean, it's
hard. but it's part
Oh,
of life.
they get to you, these animals. I don't know what it is. Sometimes you wish you didn't have them around because they pull your strings. They get you. They get you in. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And okay, so we're finding more out about you now, but we know a little bit more about you growing up and having to wrestle yourself out of Texas and fight your way out with all the Mexicans and the people, and we love them. And but regardless, we're racist. We're a racist lot. The whole world's racist now. We're all racist.
Well, everybody calls us that, like white privilege. I'm like, where's this white privilege you're talking about? Because I never found it. I love everybody. When I was raised to love everybody, no matter their color or race or whatever. When I grew up in South Texas, it was a culture shock in the sense that they were just mean. They were so mean to me. Like they beat me up. They were mean. I had to learn how to fight to survive.
I was just listening to a podcast about someone. You know what? There's just fucking not nice people, and to be honest, we're not prepared for them. When you're a nice person, you're not prepared. Do you know what I mean? And that's what gets people. And I think it's okay. Don't worry if you're not prepared, but just be building. Like that. I think it was Joe Rogan said, "You're better off being a fucking savage in a garden than a gardener in a war." Like you might as well know that you can contain yourself in the garden, that you could rip everyone apart in here. But when it's time for war, you're ready.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I'm going to say to you something about the Spartans, the 300 Spartans.
Yeah.
They said they went and fought against 10,000 Persians, or maybe more, 300. And the leader, now I've gone blank on his name. It'll come to me. There was a guy that was following them. He wasn't Spartan worthy, and he said to him, Leonidas said to him, "Tell us, show us your skills with the sword." And he showed him the sword and the spear. He goes, "Wow, you're really good with it." He goes, "Show me what you're like with your shield." And he couldn't pick up his shield well. He couldn't do anything. He goes, "I can't use you." And he said, "Why?" He goes, "I'm good with my sword." He goes, No. He goes, "The reason I need you good with your shield is you protect the guy next to you. We all move our shields to the right, which each Spartan moves it over to protect the other Spartan. If you can't protect us, you're no good to us." So isn't it funny that at the end of the day, people are just acting boisterous and trying to intimidate, but really they're pussycats when it comes to shielding their friends and protecting people. And I think that's kind of what I'm saying is, like, you said you're such a nice person that it surprised you what you needed to do and all this white privilege bullshit at the end of the day, when it's just people whinging. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a shame that there's so much negativity in the world. And I say this all the time, but if I could reach through this phone and reach through this camera and reach every person in the world and tell them exactly what to do to get fit and get healthy, if that was a thing, if I could do it, I freaking would.
Well, I can tell, and I've got a question that I wrote just this morning when I was coming, because I did this last night. A dream come true, Fluffy to Fit book, 21 good chapters, quite the book. Tell us, is that really you on the cover, which we do know at 30 in the white bikini? So tell us about the book.
Yeah, so I wrote a book, came out almost a year ago now. It was Fluffy to Fit.
Yeah.
People have been encouraging me to do it, and I've just put everything that I know in that book. Not only how I did it, but more importantly, how you can do it, how you can get fit. Full workouts, where your calories and macros need to be to see results. Problem solving, like when you hit a plateau and you don't know what to do. I go in, there's a whole chapter on that. Hormone balance. There's a whole chapter on that my hormone doctor co-wrote, so that I made sure everything was factual, everything was checked a million times for facts. So yeah, it's been a bestseller for pretty much ever since it came out. So I've been really lucky in that way. It's an ebook, $15 on my website, claremorrow.com. It's also available on Amazon. In Australia, some places can get it, some places can't, but you can certainly get the ebook for sure. At claremorrow.com. And then I came out with a cookbook not much later. So the cookbook came out in June. which I decided to do the cookbook because I have so many recipes. I've learned how to make healthy food taste amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, when I first started, I'm like, how do I eat chocolate every day and not get fat?
Yeah.
How do I eat pizza every day and not get fat? So I came up with amazing recipes like cloud bread pizza, healthy brownies, chocolate puddings that you can have every single day and not gain weight. I mean, it's that good. And then I also did things in my cookbook that no other cookbook has ever done that I'm aware of. I did full macros with each recipe, so there's no guesswork. You know exactly what you're eating. But also, I get this question a lot, Claire, how much do I eat pre and post workout, and what are the best foods? So each recipe has like a guide, like a red star or a green star, telling you this is a great recipe for pre or post workout, and then also telling you what's best to eat at night to help you with your fat loss. So yeah, it's
So I'm going to go into the business question. How do you build a bodybuilding business? Don't worry, you look amazing. But there's so many people that use filters, do a lot of things out there that, and actually are sitting there showing us glute exercises when they actually naturally have a fat ass, and there's cellulite under there, but they don't. Like, what I'm getting at is, I know myself. We've got our own protein powder. We've got our pre-workout. We've got a few other things coming up too, but it just seems like people like to follow trends that don't work. People that are really not invested enough in it. They just got a bit of fame. They got a bit of following, and they just seem to wear the right clothing, maybe put the right filters on. So what I'm asking is, how do you do to making it true a good and rewarding business? Both, hear me out, rewarding. There's no money in bodybuilding if you're not careful. The place isn't a money, like you can go broke in this place. And at the end of the day, I'm a businessman. So I've already worked that out 5 months into my podcast that, wow, everyone is playing they're making money here when they're really not. Meaning in this industry, right? Like directly. So because even the big bodybuilders that are doing Olympia have got full-time jobs. And these guys have got amazing bodies and they win trophy, but they've got full-time jobs. There's an art to business. Business is 5% of the population in the world. It just gets, so it's 5% of bodybuilding too. So tell me, how do you do it? How have you transformed it with, I guess, the authenticity? Where does your tenacity come from?
I think I'm wired that way.
Yeah, why? It's wiring, yes, of course.
It's wiring. You either have it or you don't. But I think the biggest thing is just tell the truth to people. This is what drives me crazy about social media. Like, I can't scroll 5 seconds without seeing some little shitfluencer talking about, oh, you need to do these ab exercises and you'll get a snatched waist in like 2 weeks. You know, this will reduce your fat. And I'm just like, oh, I just want to smack them. No, that's not how it works. You're lying to people. It is a diet. You cannot spot reduce fat. So I think more than anything, just be honest with people, you know, and I try to, like, when somebody messages me on Instagram, I get back to them. I am not going to be that girl that ignores.
How good is that? How good is it when you get back to people? They love it. Me too. Do you know, we blew up on TikTok. Like, we got to 26,000 people on TikTok overnight. But I was literally replying to every person, thank you, thumbs up, yes, this, that. Even on my Instagram, I just know you got to be in with the people. You got to be in there. So you're saying,
TikTok is hard now. Like, I've been on TikTok since 2021 when it first started getting cool. And
it's getting harder now. Trust me.
It's harder now. Views are top. Like, I have 1 million followers, and literally, I'll get lucky if I get 10,000 views on stuff.
Yeah. I don't think I'm following you on TikTok, which is surprising. I'm following you on Insta, but I don't know why. I'm just saying I'm going to come over because you've got 1 million. I'm going to start start putting my arm around you and taking. I'm going to crop you into photos with me. Okay, and Randy. I'm going to crop you and Randy together. I'm going to look like I'm at some bar.
I will tell you this, though. TikTok, there is a trick to it. Like, if you can release a video before you go live, that will boost the video you just posted. So if it has potential of going viral, release it 10 minutes before you go live, and it'll push it to the FYP. That's one thing I learned early on from a tips guy. And it was probably the best thing I ever learned. And I did that a lot. And one time I got real lucky with one of my videos, and it went to 17.3 million. And it was just a little stupid video about not spot reducing fat, right? About, sit-ups make your waist thicker when you do it with weights. Actually, my gym partner was doing, these with the weights, and they'll make your side bends, and they make your waist thicker. So that's what we were talking about on the video, and it blew up, big time. So sometimes you get lucky with one or two,
We've had a few that have hit the million. But Chris, apparently if we do a video before going live, the video will skyrocket usually, because you're going live and they've got the latest video. So you usually do a post and then go live. Just letting Chris know. Chris is our creative director. I haven't bagged Chris. Usually I do give Chris a bit of a go, but he's actually making silly noises with bags around me and taking up too much of my attention. But just quickly looking at the next question, we talked about how it caught your eye. It was that girl with a great back, and obviously I mentioned the Conor McGregor. You're not here to take part; you're here to take over. When did you first compete? And tell us a little bit about all the comps you've done, just quickly. And what was your favorite comp?
I really liked the last one I did, actually. San Antonio Pro was a lot of fun, and Masters Nationals. That's where I got my pro card originally. So I started when I was 42 in 2014, and
that was quick. That was quick.
Yeah, I got on stage way too fast. Like, I was all enthusiastic about it, and my trainer told me, no, you're not ready, and I knew I wasn't. I didn't have enough muscle yet. But I'm like, I just want to get my feet wet, and I got third place, and so excited, and there was I was only like 11 in it or something, but I was so excited, right? And so that's kind of what got me started. But I got hung up in staying lean, trying to stay too lean, and I never did get the muscle maturity that I needed to get. That's why we have our off season, to build muscle. So if you're under eating, and these are mistakes I made, under eating. And then, of course, the hormone thing, finding that out a year into it, that came into it too, because I didn't have testosterone. I wasn't able to build as much muscle. So I can't count how many shows I've done. I've probably done over 30, between amateur and pro. But I love it. There was 2 years I didn't compete when COVID hit. 2020 to 2021, I didn't compete at all. 2022, I came back and did a couple of shows and got the top 5, and I think 2 top 5s. And then this year I got third. And so, it's been good. I don't know. I've got a little bit of arthritis in my knees, and I don't know, how much I'll be able to continue competing from that aspect. Even though I do manage it, it's minor. And the peptides help me, and so on and so forth. But I manage it well with, gel injections that the ortho does for me and things like that. But so, you're always going to have like roadblocks. Things are always going to be in the way. Things are going to pop up. It's how you handle it, how you shuffle things around. You can either look at it as a stumbling block or a stepping stone.
I guess the 2 questions I'm going to ask. One is, when you compete, I have noticed I never knew about this, but it makes sense now. And I guess that's why I didn't compete in my 20s, is when you compete too early and when you're constantly on the deficit or depletion. I've seen sometimes musclier Ethiopians that are hungry than the people that are on stage. Some people, I look at them, I go, that to me looks very skinny. Yeah. And a rib cage showing, and that doesn't look muscular, which I feel sometimes the sport should not tell people where they're lacking, but pull them up and say, hey, listen, put a bit of muscle on, come and see us in 2 years. Or don't worry about your shoulders coming up. Don't worry about this coming up. We're talking about you need complete, the whole body muscular. You need calves, you need quads, you need muscles. But they're encouraging, like, especially the girls, and the guys now, the young guys. We're seeing lineups. I'm seeing lineups, and I'm thinking, first the thing I'm thinking about is, that guy has got so much guts and courage to go up on stage with no package. Like, I'm like, so I'm thinking, wow, firstly. And then I think to myself, how do I question myself? Like, how do I sit there and question my abilities? Why don't I give it a go? But hear me out. But then I'm thinking, but this is going to detract. if we all accept this, that's what the norm's going to be in the future. It's just going to be a pageant. It ain't going to be really a bodybuilding event. And like I said, I've seen guys where I go, man, he doesn't look healthy. Oh my God. And I know if it's, what I'm saying is, yeah, there's a lineup of 12, but now there's a lineup of 30 and there's a lineup of 40. And you know, it can't have just become overnight doubled in relation to everybody. It's not all the gluteus maximus, if that makes sense. There's a lot of things going on, and I feel everyone's trying to get on stage for the gram.
Yeah.
And also get on stage where I feel, how about you get to the beach first, make yourself look amazing in swimwear, amazing in photos, amazing in the year in, year out, and then start saying, you know what, now I can start coming in a little bit for comp. That's what I think anyway. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny you say that, because I had one head judge tell me in 2016, and he was right. You need to hit the leg press. You need to, you know, put on some muscle. And so that was when things turned for me. And I literally was like, okay, all right. So I hired a different trainer, hired a different coach. And the next year is when I got my pro card, because I took it more seriously and I started, you know, packing on more muscle and doing all the things you got to do to put on muscle. That more food, you know, dealing with a little bit more body fat than you want, you know, yada yada. So that's what I did, and I learned my lesson.
I think, like I said to you, I love it when I see a guy or a girl, but mainly some of the guys, I think, wow, this guy's really got self-belief. Like, to be up on stage, I don't feel it shows me what I believe competing looks like. But wow, for the attitude, he's got me on that. But I still believe if we're not encouraging the balance between time spent eating really well to put on muscle, it's instead of losing weight, that's the trick. How to put on muscle to be able to deplete. Because if you're depleting before there's muscle, there's no muscle there, I guess.
Exactly. By the end of it, your body's going to eat away your muscle as well as your fat. And then you're going to look really skinny fat and, you know, not great on stage. It's not a good look. Agreed.
Why do you do all this? Why all this content? Why are you taking away so much time from Randy?
Oh, I love this question. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you a very honest answer. If I am,
because you don't have to do it. You know that you don't have to do it. You could be sipping margaritas at the Maldives if you wanted to.
I know, and a lot of people don't. I feel like if I am lucky enough to go to when I die, if I'm lucky enough to meet the maker and he looks at me and says, "What did you do with your life? What did you do to help other people?" I would literally want to have an answer for that. So for me, it is soul food, seriously, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And Randy, I drag him into videos sometimes too, and you know, I love helping people. I think it's just my jam. I love helping people, and I do it for free where most coaches won't, because I feel like everybody deserves good information when it comes to, you know, getting healthy, getting fit, knowing what to do. If somebody messages you, that's a real person on the other end of that phone. You know, get back to them. You know, sometimes I'll leave them voice messages, you know, and tell them what to do. You know, I'm not looking for anything in return other than that's what we are here to do. We are here to help each other. Life is about helping one another. That is the meaning of life. 100%.
When you talk about helping, meeting your maker, is it, am I wrong to say you have a strong faith?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not super religious, but I'm very spiritual.
Well, I tell people that if you bank on yourself, hear me out. If you bank on yourself, we're all in trouble. But if you bank on the higher power and you want to prove it to the higher power, we're all safe because you've gone beyond yourself. And the higher power, call it spiritual, call it God, call it Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it, that place knows the truth. So it knows when you lie in silence. It knows when you lie in the shadow, in the shadows. So the fact you're saying is, I think what you're trying to tell me is you have this truth, this giving, serving mentality, and fulfilling that fulfills you. So it's a kind of win-win for you. So well done for doing that. We talked about, and I suppose with women, menopause. Let's talk about that. What do you know and what should they all know out there about menopause and getting to that?
Yeah, when you get over 40, you're in perimenopause, going to menopause in your 40s to 50s. So get your hormones checked. That's the most important thing. All those symptoms I mentioned earlier, belly fat, hair loss, can't lose weight, low energy, low libido, can't sleep at night. Those are all signs of menopause, hormone imbalance symptoms. And again, you need a wellness specialist for that. So that's number one. Think of your hormones as the wiring in the body that controls everything. And when those wires start to blow, and they will, nobody's immune to it. That's when all these symptoms start popping up out of nowhere. So make sure you get them checked. That's number one. Eat whole natural foods, high in protein, because we just can't eat the same crap we used to when we were 20 and 30 years old. That goes back to the digestion thing, which is also related to your hormones. That's number two. Lift weights, keep muscle on you. We don't want to look like an 80-year-old, like Biden walking around, falling down all the time. Muscle is the glue that keeps our bodies together.
And to think with all the people he has around him and no one's feeding this guy correctly and exercising him correctly, doing everything correctly. Like, imagine the resources he has and he's not even utilizing them.
No, I know. And he doesn't care. A lot of people don't care. But when you break a hip, you're going to care.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, your body will eat away your muscle over time. It's inevitable if you don't do these things. I'm not trying to scare people. It's just the truth.
Maybe they like you. Go on.
I was just saying, be careful with alcohol too. It really, really slows down your fat loss to a crawl when you are trying to, because our digestion slows down anyway. So you throw a toxin in there like alcohol, and your body can't really process the foods properly when it's trying to get rid of the alcohol out of your body. So when we're younger, we can get away with it a bit more, but older into menopause, we have a very hard time metabolizing alcohol, and it will give you more belly fat, all that stuff none of us want. So just be careful with alcohol.
That's right. Just quick shots, flaming Lamborghinis or whatever they call it. Quick shots, not long ones. Just no, of course not. Let's again talk a little bit taboo subjects too, about wrinkles, fine lines, maybe plastic surgery. How do we manage? Because I believe that, again, I always believe the exercise, the food is going to give us a longer, healthier looking body. Yeah. I think massage and massaging your face, massaging areas around your body helps. What's your thing on that? Because you did mention something about fine lines and wrinkles in one of your posts. You said you were going somewhere, ladies. I do believe it's something about spots, something about, I don't know what it was.
Oh yeah, I do what they call a BBL to the face, which is get rid of all your spots and helps you with wrinkles. I also have my own machine. So a company reached out to me from, I think they were from China, and they sent me an RF and ultrasound machine, which is great for, heating up the skin for wrinkles and stuff. And it helps with that.
Yes. Yep.
Oh my God, that thing has been the best thing ever. So I've been using it on my face, on my arms. And if you're interested in learning about this machine, just DM me on Instagram. I can send you the info because it is pretty freaking awesome. When you go to a spa to get these treatments, they're $500 a pop or more. So it's nice to have one at home that you can use anytime, and you've already bought the machine, so it's there just for you. So that's been really a life changer for me. I also do micro needling at home on my face and stuff. I don't know if you can see my face close up, but
no.
I've got wrinkles just like everybody else. I do a little bit of Botox, I do a little bit of filler.
I see that too. Don't worry about that. That's fine. I know that's fine, because that stuff can't hide everything else you do, because everything else will. You just, like I said, we can. I think I believe as people, we're not aging well. I think the more
what we're eating,
we're not only and also we're over medicated and we're sicker than ever. Like it's just incredible. So, like I said, I think that. The other question I'm going to ask, because it just came to me in competing, and the girls, and I know with the men as well, with performance enhancing drugs. I think we've got to be very careful out there. I know it's there. I know we're all equals, but I think just with women and guys, because we can lose testosterone, fertility and all that, everyone just needs to make sure they measure themselves well with this, because I believe it's wonderful to compete. It's wonderful to have those trophies. It's wonderful to do the sacrifices, but make sure, I think you're saying as well, correct me if I'm wrong, get your bloods done, get your hormones checked all the time. Know when you need to come off the gas. Know when you need, can you, as you as a competitor, what would you say about that?
Oh yeah, I get my hormones checked every 3 months, regardless. As far as my routine, I do HRT. When I'm competing, I take a little bit more testosterone than I might normally, which helps me out. And then I do peptides. So the peptides really help me with my muscle as well. They help me with fat loss. There's so many different peptides. I don't know that Australia has access to them.
We do have access to peptides. Yeah.
I wasn't sure, what your connections were over there.
We still a little bit taboo here. We don't want to talk about it, but we are opening up. I'll always open up and talk about it because, like I said, it's not like I'm a dealer or I need to sell this stuff. What I'm talking about, but I also believe on social media, I have been shocked by the people that are natural. Like, I honestly believe when I look at them, I go, oh, I can imagine what they're on. And then I find out they're natural and they win comps. And I think, and I applaud them. And now when I say, I know you're going to, I know there's natural genetics. People have got it and they're at the right place at the right time. But what I'm alluding to is I don't think everybody necessarily abuses the hell out of themselves in this sport. I think this sport is measured. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want people on the fence thinking I can't do that because they're all in, pedal to the metal, substance, this, that. It's not. It's not. That's what I was trying to get to the point.
Not everybody runs roids.
That's what I'm saying. It's not all about that. And to be honest, I said to you off air, I took a cycle when I was 50, and I keep mentioning this. And boy, did I get stronger. And boy, I was never ripped at 95 kilos. I was ripped. But what I did realize was I still had to eat I had to eat well. I had to turn up to the gym. I had to rest. I had to train. Sitting on the couch wasn't going to give me anything. So thankfully, what I've realized is if I just keep doing what I'm doing, I'm happy to be ripped at 90 or 88 kilos. I don't need, and I'm not competing. So I'm okay. So summertime's a good time. So tell us about Randy and this guy from 60 to 69. I saw the videos. I mean, and he's gone from no mo to a mo to a little beard but the guy's looking amazing.
Yeah, he looks amazing. He does. He had the proverbial dad bod, when we first started. And now he looks like a Berkshire house. He's built pretty well. And he had good genetics for sure, but he eats well. I help him with his diet all the time, as far as lining him out and stuff, since that's what I do anyways. We go to the gym together and we started this journey together. He looked at me when we first started looking into this and I wanted to compete. He says, well, if you're going to do this, I'm going to do it with you because I don't want to be the fat guy dragging in the fitness model. That's literally what he said to me, word for word, verbatim.
So how important is it to have a supportive partner then? Because out there, we don't have that and everybody longs for that. Chris Bumstead talks about the complete family, sister, girlfriend, mates package. How important is it to have that, especially firstly a partner that helps?
It helps tremendously. I can't tell you how many times where it shows and we see women that have nobody with them. They're competing and they're doing it all on their own. And it's a lot of work. I mean, you got to haul around food and it's a lot of work. And we feel bad for them or their husbands won't support them, which I think is really sad. Let me get this straight. Your wife is going to get in the best shape of her life. And you're going to sit there on the couch and, eating ho-hos or something and not support her at all. That just makes no sense. You like what you're looking at though, don't you?
Yeah, I like it when she walks in the bedroom. I memean, God's sake, you go see her on stage as well, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's amazing. And I think too many men get intimidated by that, or they, think it's too much muscle or what have you. But it's, it's a bodybuilding contest. It's not a bikini, late night bar contest, like back in the day. It's not one of
It's
those.
not a wet t-shirt comp. It's not a wet t-shirt
Yeah,
comp.
it's a totally different thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, Randy worked it out. I'm not going to be the fat dad bod next to you, babe. I've got to fucking shape up too. So
Yeah,
I'm sure he gets a lot of compliments out there as well. I'm sure that people go, "Hey, man, you look amazing, buddy."
I could drag him in here. He's in the other room.
Yeah, drag him in. I like to say hello to him. You could drag him in if you like.
Let me see if I can get him. Hold on.
Yeah, come on in.
Hey, Randy.
She's bringing her husband on, her partner. Maybe you can.
Okay, he's coming. He's got 2 dogs on his lap.
2 dogs on his lap.
He's got 2 dogs on his lap. I'll just.
I know what that's like. I got 3 dogs.
We got Jack Russell, so we're like very.
Oh right. Randy, are you sure? So when did you stop? When did you stop casting for Baywatch?
Those days are long behind me.
Mate, you look, I'm going to say it, fucking amazing.
Well, thank you. I keep working at it.
You keep working.
It's a work in progress.
You know what? There's no off season, mate. It's on season constantly.
Yep, I agree.
But
lifestyle. At some point, it becomes a lifestyle.
I think there's nothing better than enjoying I mean, I'm not saying we talked about alcohol and a bit of like, obviously getting older, it's not the best, but how good has it during summertime when you've got a great bod and you're enjoying a great beer and the guys around you, like when I say a good beer, or maybe a European beer, I'm talking about, or a great wine with friends at a party, at a Christmas party, just that one drink. How good does it feel?
Well, especially when you start to get to my age, which I just turned 70.
Yeah, congratulations.
And so when we went to a Sandals recently, and it was at the time of year where we didn't know it, but everybody there was in their 60s.
Yes.
And I was in better shape than anybody there. So my peers is a different. They need to all get in better shape.
Literally, I did a picture of him next to a farmer guy, same exact age.
Yes.
And the guy said to Randy, "Well, when you get to my age," and Randy's like, "Well, how old are you?" And he said he was like, what, 60?
Well, he was like 3 years younger than me.
I know. Randy's like, and then you should have seen his face. It was ghost white. It was awesome.
Well, I've also, because of the hard work you've done, Randy, and I know it's involved in checking everything, your internals, your externals, and you're eating well to build muscle. I can see your muscle. I see the vascularity on you. It's amazing that when people get older, yeah, I can see it, bro. It's amazing when people get older how they jump on losing weight and then they actually look even worse.
Yeah.
Because
that's not the answer.
That's not the answer. You got to fill up perfectly. You got to know what you're doing.
And I'm a firm believer in lifting weights. So I do believe you have to build muscle. We lose so much muscle as we get older. And yeah, what good is it to lose weight if you don't have any muscle?
Well, everyone's talked about the fountain of youth, and I tell them the fountain of youth is a gymnasium. You want to go and find youth, it's the gymnasium.
For sure. It's a good therapy place, too, to get therapy and antidepressing and that type of thing, too.
Yeah, and also
what it can do for you mentally also.
When I go to the gym, I've always said it that the world seems to stay outside that door. As soon as I walk in the gym, for some reason, I'm not as stressed. I'm not worried. Of course, when I leave the gym, there they are. There's the world's troubles and worries. But inside those walls, once you walk in there, and the clanking of the gym equipment and the music and the people and people's, it just seems like it's an okay place. It's okay. The world's okay.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree.
Well, and wherever we go, we try to find the gym also. So it's kind of our island to get away.
Well, you've got to come to Australia. We've got some good gyms here.
That sounds good to me.
I know. What part of Australia are you in?
Sydney. In Sydney.
Oh, you're in Sydney. Okay, because one day that is on our bucket list for sure.
Well, I'm going to let you go, Randy, so I can finish up with Claire because, I mean...
Okay, well, it's nice talking to you.
It was nice talking to you, and I really appreciate you. You look amazing. I'm 54. I tell people I'm 70, so they think I look great, but you can say whatever age you like.
You look great.
All right, buddy.
Especially at 70.
That's why I say it to them. That's why I tell people that. Okay, we're coming close to the finish. We're going to finish up soon, but let me ask you, some general questions. What is your favorite breakfast during on season? Like your training, what's your breakfast in the morning?
Normally I make cloud bread out of egg whites. So I'll pop one. I keep a bunch in the refrigerator. So I'll pop one out. I'll put it in the air fryer and put red sauce on it, like just a small amount, like maybe 2 ounces. And then I'll take like the powdered Parmesan cheese and like a teaspoon or a tablespoon of that on top. So I have pizza for breakfast. I make it for breakfast, and it's so low calorie. It's like 150 calories or something. Yeah. And then I do oatmeal, steel cut oatmeal, always steel cut, usually with a few berries, cinnamon and monk fruit sugar, and that's usually what I have. It's really good.
And what about off season? What's your off season breakfast?
So yeah, I mean, I still eat the same thing, except I might do like I make an appleberry mixture in my oatmeal where I'll put like no sugar added apple, what's it called, topping or pie filling. Yeah. And so I'll put like a couple tablespoons of that in there, and then mix it around with a graham cracker, so it tastes like an appleberry pie. It's freaking awesome. So I'll do that. I just have a few more cheats. The only difference between on season and off season is the amount of cheats, right? So, there's no like extra chocolate here and there, or other than the protein powder or something like that. Because, my normal recipes, like in my cookbook, I can have on my dieting down, season. But, like as far as like a Twix bar or something like that, then no, you can't eat one of those, So, yeah.
What about fasting before the gym? How far? I always believe you shouldn't go. I have gone to the gym on an empty stomach. I'll go to the gym on an empty stomach, but I always believe it now before I try to maybe have a banana, or I try to have something other than a pre-workout. I try to fuel myself with, because I believe when you're at the gym, you're destroying. I know when you're getting home, you're having the protein, but I think while you're in there, I think you need nutrients. Absolutely. What do you think? Yeah,
absolutely. I do not like fasted workouts, other than fasted walking or some fasted cardio is fine, but eat right after. But before you lift, oh no, you need protein and carbs before you go. I've literally had 2 meals before I go to the gym. I go at lunchtime. So I've had that oatmeal and 5 egg whites, and then I'll have chicken and sweet potatoes an hour before I go. And that gives you the fuel to push. This is where a lot of people make the mistake. They think they need to burn those calories. Well, it's more about your all day activity and your all day calories. So, but what matters is when you eat a carb, it goes into your body and it goes into your bloodstream, turns into glycogen, and stores in your muscles. Now, if you've ever had a big cheat meal and then go lift the next day, you're a lot stronger, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because that glycogen is in your muscles and it gets you to push more weight because you're stronger. So I tell people, please do not lift fasted. You will never get strong enough to push if you lift fasted. You won't get anywhere. I just don't know where this fasted crap came from. I really don't.
I've heard it as well. It was never around it was never around in the 90s. It wasn't around in the 80s.
No, definitely not. And we were all leaner then.
I was leaner. I was super lean.
Everybody was leaner then.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're putting in our food now. I will tell you this. We went to Italy recently, and I felt so good over there. The food is so clean. When I came home and started eating my normal clean foods, all of a sudden I felt like recycled monkey shit. I'm like, what is going on? What are they putting in our food? So I'm trying to clean up my food even more, because it just made me feel heavy, made me feel weird, and it wasn't jet lag. So I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll give you an example on yogurt. Everyone eats Greek yogurt. And when I look at the typical brands and they say, oh, Greek yogurt, and I look at it and I turn it around and it's milk from a cow, but it's got all these additives. Yeah. But let's just say it's $6. Now, I get a yogurt that's from goat's milk. And if I turn it around, there's 2 ingredients, goat's milk and goat culture, whatever it's called. There's nothing else. That's true Greek yogurt, because most of the Greeks had goats. They didn't have cows. So what I'm alluding to is just to have yogurt and what we're having in yogurt and all the additives in yogurt. But if you stop and go, oh, what's this goat's yogurt? And you turn it around, because it is more expensive, but there's less in it. It's better in protein. So we need to look at the ingredients on the packets.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to be looking at that. And also the last question is, I'm also a little bit of a firm believer. People talk about, oh, your last meal's at 9 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night and you're not. But sometimes I might go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. And because I know we're talking about having a siesta or having a rest, usually when you're resting, you're building muscle. Oh, well, muscle needs you to rest. But I think you need, I'm not saying eating before bed, but I think everyone jumping up and down and that. I've been leaner when I've had lean meat or lean something before bed, an hour before bed, 2 hours before bed. Of course, not chocolate, not ice cream, but I'm talking about I might have a little bit of sweet potato, some lean chicken or lean veal, because I have to eat because I'm building muscle.
Yeah.
But I think this don't eat before bed. No one understands don't eat shit, whatever you're doing.
Before bed, there's a big difference. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
And once again, it's the amount of calories that you have throughout the day. So if your calorie deficit is set for 1,600 calories, meet that 1,500 calories. Really doesn't matter what time of day you eat it. Generally speaking, for me, I don't eat much after 7, but that's just my schedule.
Yeah.
I'm usually in bed by 9.
Well, that's why. That's why.
Yeah, I go to bed early. I get up fairly early, but I eat 5 to 6 meals a day. And I eat protein every single time. People, it always amazes me when you feel like, I can't get all this protein out. I'm like, yes, you bloody can. You just gotta eat protein every meal and know your portion sizes. I tell people all the time, go find your macros. Find your macros. I've got a free calculator in my link in bio on my Amazon or on Instagram. Go use it.
So what time do you get up in the morning, and do you have rituals and habits?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a creature of habit, big time. I'm usually up by 5:30 or 6, and jump in the shower and put my lotion on my face, put my lotion on my body, and then I do a little bit of walking. Before I usually have water first before I have coffee, because of the cortisol levels. You don't want to elevate your cortisol more than you need to.
Yep.
So I usually do that. Black coffee first. I'll walk a little bit, and then I'll do my first meal. And I'm usually eating my first meal by 7 o'clock. Or so.
Okay. All right.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Guys, please go to threeog.shop. Go to threeog.shop and purchase your book now. This book doesn't only have Ted's recipes on there, you can create your own. It even tells you about the utensils you need to be using. It says macros, fats, carbohydrates, sugars. It says it all. There's too much to list. So please go to threeog.shop. What's that? threeog.shop. Get your book now.
Well, we're going to go over the body now. We're at the end of the podcast. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to mention a body part, and you're going to give me one exercise.
Okay.
And if you don't do it, just say, I don't do it. That's cool. We move to the next exercise. And just the sets and reps. So how many reps and how many sets? Okay. So, and I use the same thing for the guys as well. So forgive me if so traps. Do you train traps?
No, I don't. My traps are bigger than they need to be, just because when I worked shoulders for a long time, I didn't realize my traps were engaging too much. So, but shrugs are good if you're a guy and you're wanting to do traps.
And how many sets, reps on the shrugs?
Now for everything, I do 4 sets, 12 to 15 reps.
Okay. Everything. All right. Delts, front delts.
Yeah, front raises, leaning back. So leaning back on an angle like this.
Oh, right, on an incline bench.
Yeah, on an incline, because that will engage your front delts more. Otherwise, you're going to hit your trap.
I'm going to do that. And how many sets, reps?
Yeah, 4, and then for 12 to 15 reps.
All right. Side delts?
Same thing. Actually, what I really like to do with side delts is I'll take a cable machine with 2 cables. I'll lay down on the floor.
Yes.
I'll do this.
I've seen that one lately. It's the latest craze.
Try it. It takes your traps out of it completely.
Really?
This is how I built this, doing that.
I can see your shoulders are amazing. So 12 to 15, 4 sets.
Yeah.
Back delts?
Probably my favorite one is skiers. So those are where you lean forward and you do this.
Oh,
You know,
yes. I know that one.
I love skiers. Yeah, I do
Okay,
that.
and all right, and we know 12 to 15
Oh,
full set.
okay,
What
yeah.
about chest?
Chest, I actually like, there's several different parts of the chest. For a guy, you want to hit all of it. But for a female, I just do upper chest, which is an incline machine press.
Yes.
I like those. Sometimes I'll do dumbbell flat bench. And of course, I've
Yep.
had the big bum, so I've got to be real careful about that.
Yep.
And I'll do flies, but with really lightweight.
Okay, so again, 12 to 15 full sets. What about back?
So back is a complicated muscle. There's much to it. So you want to make sure that you're doing wide grip pull downs, close
Yep.
grip pull downs,
Yes.
seated rows, one arm rows, and then lower back, where you've got a barbell here, or you
Bend
can
over rows. Bend over rows, I think it's called.
row.
Okay, 12 to 15 full sets again.
Yep.
Okay,
Or you can superset.
what's that?
Or you can superset.
All right, superset. And bicep.
Biceps, I really like twisting curls for those.
Oh, yeah. Twisting curls. Standing or seating? Standing or seated?
I usually do mine standing.
All right, standing. 4 sets, 12 to 15.
Yep.
It's okay. I'm going to keep saying it because sometimes we grab shorts out of the whole podcast. So we tricep.
Yeah, I really like tricep pull downs, push downs, but I also like overhead with a rope.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're good pullovers. They're very good. 12 to 15 full sets. What about abs?
I don't work them much. I do vacuums for my abs.
I've heard. I saw you doing some vacuums in your post. Yes, you do vacuum.
Yeah. If you do your abs too much, when you lift weights, your core gets hit from everything that you do. So if you add like anything weighted to it, you're going to end up looking like SpongeBob because you're going to be too thick. So when you work a muscle, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what muscles do. They grow, which is great in places, but you don't want to look like SpongeBob in the midsection. And you can't spot reduce fat, which we've already talked about.
So not really any ab exercise,
I'm not.
Yeah, I can see you got amazing. I mean, you got an amazing stomach, but obviously I've seen you do vacuums.
Yeah, that's what I do because that trains your transversus abdominis muscles.
How do we do? All right, since you're talking about how do we do vacuums, what do you do?
So you bring your belly button to your spine, you hold it for about 10 seconds, 10 times, once a day. Best to do first thing in the morning before you eat or drink anything.
So suck towards your spine.
Yeah.
And how long do you hold it for?
10 seconds.
10 seconds, 10 to 15 times.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's the first vacuum exercise we've done on the podcast. What about quads?
So leg extensions, leg press, or hack squat.
Again, 12 to 15?
Yep, I do all three in a quad day, yeah.
Hammies?
So for hamstring curls, obviously seated, lying, you can do one-legged, mix it up. It's good to do all of it. And then high and wide on the leg press, or you can do an inverted leg press. I love inverted leg press. You can do obviously deadlifts. You can do RDLs. You can do
inverted leg press is when you're lying on your back and pushing up.
Yeah,
I've done that. It smashes your hammies, man.
It does, and your glute tie-in is tight.
Yeah, it's actually really tight to your glutes. That part of the hammy, it really smashes.
It hurts, yes.
I like. All right, 12 to 15, 4 sets. Calves.
Seated and standing. So
what about 6-inch high heels? I heard that works as well. If guys wear high heels, we'll get good calves.
Right. I do a lot of standing, and I work mine 3 times a week. So I've got little bitty calves. I'm not even sure how these things hold me up, to be honest with you. But I'll do standing ones and I'll do seated ones and just kind of rotate those.
Awesome. Tibialis. That's the front of the calf.
Yeah, I don't really work that. I used to hit that when I would sprint, but I can't sprint anymore with these knees.
Do you train forearms at all?
Nah.
No. You're very vascular. Look at you. Look at those arms, man. Give us a double bicep pose. Come on.
I got long arms.
Look, you look amazing. Look at you.
I look like a pterodactyl when I do this because I have really long arms.
You got long arms. Yeah, you do have long arms. And I left glutes till last, and I'll tell you why. Because you did a post and you said, hey, girls, do you feel like you're hitting your quads here, or do you feel like you're hitting your hammies here? Tell us a really good glute exercise and how to be very strict with it.
Yeah, so hip thrusts are probably my favorite because they take pressure off your joints.
But you also can do it wrong, the hip thrust.
Yeah,
You
you can do it wrong. If your feet are too far in front of you, you're going to hit your hams. If they're too far towards you, your knees overbent, you're going to hit your quads. So make sure you're at 90 degrees. And also make sure that you are, guys, they won't be able to see me. So you got to make sure that you are, doing it like this versus just the pelvic. You want to make sure the whole thing is moving.
What you're saying is you're pushing through, you're not pushing up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you want to push through.
You want to push through the glutes, not just push up through the weights or through. You got to get this on the post, Chris, about this is the perfect glute exercise, even the pros and cons, right and wrong. So they know Chris, because Chris has got to do the painstaking editing of this whole podcast.
Well, the thing about the glutes is there's so many parts to the glutes. You've got your upper glutes, your lower glutes. So things like lunges, squats, deadlifts are going to be great for your lower glutes or leg press. And then your upper glutes, kickbacks. Oh, God. My mind just went blank. Kickbacks are good. The inner outer thigh machine, abduction. Those are going to be good for your upper glutes.
Amazing. Bloody Randy, he looked amazing. God, he's a handsome fellow. I mean, he's not my type, but he's handsome. Well, this is your moment. How about you look in the camera and promote yourself? Tell us where we can find you, what's on offer. Meaning, when I say what's on offer, your book, your this, your that. Here we go. Go for it.
Yeah, if you need good fitness tips, definitely follow on Instagram or TikTok. It's Clare, CLARE. Don't spell it with an I.
Yes.
Clare Morrow, MORROW _IFBB Pro. I'm happy to help anybody who's willing to listen. TikTok, Instagram, and then of course YouTube. I love doing YouTube. I just did an interview with Randy. I haven't posted it yet. And that one is Clare Morrow, IFBB Pro. So anywhere you search me, I'll come up as long as you spell it CLARE. My books are on Amazon, Fluffy to Fit and Fluffy to Fit Cookbook. A lot of times when you search one, the other one will come up anyway. If you need a good macro and calorie deficit calculator, go to my website for that, claremorrow.com. So you can figure out where your macros and calories need to be. I've got free downloads there too, and a lot of programs there as well. I do online coaching. I don't talk about it a lot. I don't advertise it a lot because I stay fairly busy, but I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy helping people. And so if you need anything, feel free to message me on Instagram.
So we might as well say you're a personal trainer as well. Is that correct in saying that? I guess we should mention that.
Yeah, online trainer. I don't do in the gym anymore because I don't have time for it really. But yeah, I do online training, which I like.
No, fantastic. That's good news. Well, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for being so informative. Like I said, I don't know where your social media starts and I don't know where it finishes. We've met Karen and the other lady on there. I don't know who the blonde-haired lady was.
Amber.
But I want to say thank you so much for coming on to Muscle Talks podcast and also sharing all this wonderful information. I keep watching you and I keep learning. So thank you so much.
You bet. I'm happy to help. And send me a message on TikTok to make sure I follow you back because I don't always see the follows.
I'll be sending you messages, and when we finish up, obviously, I'll be thanking you and all that. So